Broadcasting live from the luxury suite on the plain of Kylum, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me is Nelson.
Back in the luxury suite.
And Wheeler.
I've got 2 drinks.
And it's part 2 of our 2024 year in review, a look back on all the things that happened in Magic in this year. Among those things is your ability to buy cards from cardkingdom.com/LRR. I don't even care if the segues sound good now. You can do that at that address /LRR. Putting that little LRR putting that on there helps us out because it tells them that we sent you to them. And you should, if you're going to buy cards online, you should buy them there. Great place to buy cards. Also, if you want to buy anything from Dragon Shield, you should use our code LRRMTG5 to get yourself 5% off. And if you are able, then you can support us financially at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel or other ways that you're able to support us. We really appreciate it. We left off at the end of June in part 1. If you haven't watched it, go check that out. It should have gone up last week on this very same channel or be one episode back in your podcast feed for those audio listeners. But so now we're at the top of July, July 5th. Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed.
Nah.
The first use of Beyond boosters.
Oh, yeah? First and last, huh?
I think so.
Prove to me that this set happened.
I have no... Yeah, this... it came out, I think, while those of us that were at Amsterdam were at Amsterdam. It didn't come out... I mean, you could buy it there, but it didn't come out yet. I don't know. Anyway. And so it's like, oh, cool. I should get some of these for the office. And I got a couple, and then I have no memory of anything else. They were tiny, the Beyond boosters, like they were small. And I don't know. Are there any cards from this? We did.
I specifically remember being disappointed to learn because I thought it had been announced there was going to be 4 commander decks for this set.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to getting to record an episode of Elder Dragon Social Club, and I played one of the Assassin's Creed games, thought the world was kind of cool, the gameplay was fun of the video game, and I was like, great, I seem to be the only one in the office that kind of gives a shit about this game, so I'll probably play this set a bunch and be the person who's trying to, go against the rest of the negative Nancys or whatever, as they're like, this is silly, but then they just gave us these tiny packs instead of a commander set, so I was like, well, that's fine. There's 1,000 other Magic releases this year.
I think I bought 1 pack of this. And I opened a reasonable card. I'm sure the cards in here actually play pretty well. They look kind of cool, as far as the design goes.
There's that colorless commander, the
Capitoline Triad.
Right.
Yes, I played that as a commander on a Friday Night Paper Fight.
Yeah. I remember that.
The cards and the text and how they interact with everything, pretty cool. The fact that, this one at least has this vibe of this could be a Therosian card or whatever. Right. But why is Leonardo da Vinci on a Magic card?
He was buddies with one
Ezio
of the
Auditore,
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
but that's like a guy.
Yeah, they're meant to take place in real Earth fiction.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Okay, all right.
But that's a guy. That dude existed. His bloodline is still out and about.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah.
I
hope they don't sue Wizards. I don't really care actually. But
you banned my father from the commander.
Hasbro got a new president and CEO in John Haidt. President and CEO of Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming.
All of it?
Apparently.
Oh.
There's a new president and CEO of all digital gaming across all companies.
Digital gaming.
Yeah.
End of July, we've given... So last episode, we talked about all these different, there was the winter super drop and then the equinox and the summer one. This, they're like, I don't know. This isn't the summer one. We just had the summer one. This one we're calling Inside an Elevator.
What?
I don't know why they called this the Inside the Elevator.
Is this are these all short cards, the elevator pitch kind of cards?
No. It featured 3 different secret layers collaborating with art collective Brain Dead. So there was just lands, like 10 basic lands. These are if you like things that look nice, these are not for you. These are, I mean, they're cool. They're cool designs, but they're like jarring to look at.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah, I mean, like here's a plains. Yeah. That's also a plains. Then there's Brain Dead Creatures, which is 5 creatures, with Consecrated Sphinx, Chaotic Goo, Kiki Jiki, Mirror Breaker, Meteor Golem, and Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, like that's Kiki Jiki.
This is like the stuff my cousin that did way too many psilocybins would share on Facebook. Like what do we like what's going on here?
It does have kind of a look I made my own card vibe.
Yeah.
It's very 90s, yeah.
Well,
and then Brain Dead Staples, Lightning Greaves, Skull Clamp, Sol Ring, Thought Vessel, and Command Tower. And they look similar to this as well, with the jarring changes in font and spacing. And that one's just a picture of someone with a tattoo of Lightning Greaves.
It kind of has a like Chandelar vibe.
don't besmirch the name of Chandelar. Thank you very much.
This is also an official Wizards product. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We had featuring Andrew McLean for Borderless Creatures, illustrated by comic book artist Andrew McLean. Those are, Nirkana Revenant, Arbor Elf, Terrastodon, and Maelstrom Wanderer. And these just look kind of fun.
These are totally
like
fine.
magic cards.
They look, they're goofy, but they like,
Sure.
if this has the vibe of like early Secret Lair. to
Yeah,
me.
looks like another.
I can read these
feature
cards.
artist.
Yeah.
I think the all-star of this super drop was the volumes 1 and 2 of the Universes Beyond collaboration with Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah, that did get a lot of press. I remember that one coming out.
Yeah. So, I mean, being able to finally get a Tim the Enchanter with a picture of Tim the Enchanter on it as an official Magic card is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Like,
we've come full circle.
That's pretty neat.
They did go hard on this artwork.
Yeah, all the art in these looks great, by the way. We had Buried Alive herein as Bring Out Your Dead, Dismember here as Tis But a Scratch, 3 Visits here as We Want a Shrubbery. The second one featured Door to Nothingness as The Bridge of Death, Ashnod's Altar as Sir Bevidir's Scales, Dark Depths as Castle of Arg, and a Merit Lage token reskinned as the Black Beast of Arg. And my favorite, because this is just so funny, like from a mechanical idea, a reprint of Birds of Paradise that is double-sided, and one side is the African swallow and the other is the European swallow. And that's very clever to me.
It just takes itself. The art is pretty.
Yeah, the art's really nice.
Yeah.
It
And
looks like it could be Magic cards.
Yeah, they're not playing around.
No.
and
And
the
I
coconut is like a bowling ball, right? So there's another connection to the joke there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks to I was able to get a set of those. I missed it at the thing, but someone hit the button wrong and ended up with extras and sent me some, and that was very kind of them. And the last one for the Secret Lair was the showcase for Bloomborough, featuring characters as animals who are not in the Bloomborough set, but wouldn't it be funny if they were? So it's Soren Markov as a bat, Huatley as a bird, Kiora as an axolotl, Tezzeret as a rat, and Vraska as a snake. And that, of course, leads us up to Bloomborough.
Okay, right. We had
Great.
MH3 and then Blueborough this summer.
Yeah.
That happened.
It was August 2nd, Bloomborough came out. Mechanics. We had Offspring, making babies. Valiant, heroic, but it only worked once a turn, but also abilities.
Yeah.
Forage, which was exiling 3 cards from a graveyard or sacrificing a food to do an extra thing. Expend, so counting how much mana you've spent in a turn. Gifting, which was you could do a thing or you could do more of a thing if you gift something to your opponent, such as a card or a tapped fish. And then also we had some cameos from Storm, Threshold, Flashback, Landfall, and Changeling. Also, this set felt the most like Magic the Gathering thus far this year.
Yeah.
Well, MH3 felt like Magic the Gathering.
That's true. MH3 did, but I'm talking about Murders at Karlov Manor and
Outlaws of Thunder
Yeah,
Junction. most like Magic the
I
Gathering.
loved this.
Bloomburrow's great.
I love Bloomberg.
The set was so big hype, like from the moment that they announced it, and then Dustborn was hot on its heels like 9 weeks later or something.
So fast.
And it didn't get to play it enough. Like there's still plenty of Bloomburrow cards I haven't read.
Yeah.
So I could have used like a second Bloomburrow set.
Yes.
Just so that the kind of like, what is this new set? Who are the characters? What's the story? So I have more time to digest that and catch it. Like, because the community just cared about it a lot. And then while it was actually out, it was the summertime. I actually was playing a lot of Magic the Gathering online, like constructed. That's just where my Magic career was at. And so I barely played any of the draft of Bloomburrow. And I even forgot to buy the emotes in the Magic Arena shop.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It I adore this set
Yeah.
aesthetically. I think the cards are pretty fun to play with.
Yeah.
The limited environment was hit or miss.
Huge
Wasn't great.
Yeah,
I
wasn't
enjoyed
fantastic.
it.
Did you think the limited was
I
good?
had fun, yeah.
Where does it rank in your 5 limited sets of the year? We can come back to it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And I kind of agree with Nelson in that this is like I just want to know. I want more.
Yeah.
I would have loved if they set some things up with one set and then delivered in the second set. You know, I would have loved for this set to be like, here's what's happening with this character. Here's the threat. And then like, here's the resolution.
Like maybe
Second
there's
set.
a couple of weasels kind of in this set. And then in Bloomburrow 2, you get like weasel as like a typal
Sure.
kind of environment. Like that felt like this would have been pretty well set up to do that mechanically, and then also thematically it felt like it would have benefited from that like 1-2 punch that failed certain other sets with like Kaladesh to Aether Revolt. Right. It's like, oh no, it's okay, and here's the thing.
Right.
But it felt like it would have worked well for Bloomburrow here. But to that end as well, like there's only, while I will take as many rabbits as possible or as many cute animals dressed up, there's also just like, oh, we got the whole set of what if a rabbit wore a cloak, and now we have a set of a rabbit wearing a cloak. Like you don't get as much they're all just animals, right? Sure. They're all just cute animals. You could do different kinds of cute animals, but there is going to be a section of the player base that is just like, well, we just had a bunch of birds in wizard robes, and I don't care that now this is a different type of bird in wizard robe. It's still a bird in a wizard robe.
Right. Maybe the gimmick was hard enough that like the section of the player base that's not like fully invested in it off the rip is just like, don't push this on me 2 in a row or whatever.
Yeah, but it was a great breather to get something that felt like Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
And Offspring was a cool mechanic. Like
slam dunk.
Like Alex won a constructed game the other day at FNPF with just like little bit of early beatdown and then 4 mana for 2 like Gutter Snape Otters or whatever.
The Coruscation Mage.
Yeah, Coruscation Mage. And then it was just like the pump spells are all shocks to the face now as well after that.
Commander decks ruled. The cards, the standard cards are like impactful.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, something we
Bunch
didn't
of
actually...
New talents or whatever, new class enchantments are cool.
Something we didn't touch on last episode, actually, because we're talking about the commander decks. In the commander decks for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which were also very cool and powerful, especially Gonti, was their little like sub game that we played on Elder Dragon Social Club of like the bounties. Right. And I highly recommend those. They're great. They're just like an additional thing to the game. They're not like game warping, but they do ask players to play slightly differently than they might otherwise for an added value. And then it does what I crave most, which is it accelerates games of Commander.
Yeah. They were great.
Yeah.
It was like a mini initiative.
Yeah. With the release of Broom Blur Blur, blah, 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 blah. With the release of Bloom Burrow, we saw Standard rotate. And
Right.
It had been a while. So Innistrad Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and Streets of New Capenna finally rotated out. Mm-hmm. And only in this past August. Mm-hmm. And now it's standard for how many years now? I know Foundations doesn't rotate.
3 years.
Is it 3-year rotation now?
So
I think so.
I think so.
It's good.
Yeah. Also August, kind of weird time, but this is like the fourth main set we've talked about or whatever, and third standard set. So third standard set of the year still makes sense.
Yeah.
Phyrexia Obi-Wan is still in, right?
Yep.
And the oldest set I think is Dominaria.
Dominario's the oldest.
Dominaria United, Phyrexia, March of the Machine.
So it looks
Help.
like in summer of 2025, Dominaria United, The Brothers War, All Will Be One, Mom, and Aftermath will rotate out. And then we won't have another rotation until February of 2027.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess they're like trying to reset it.
What's
in a
happening?
way.
Sorry, I thought we were on 3-year standard rotations now, but I guess 2.5 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's 2.5.
I'm gonna level with you, listeners. The Tap Concede crew doesn't play a ton of standards, so we're not thinking about it always.
All right.
I actually have played some standards this year.
I
but-
play a lot of standard, but I
You
play
play
it
a lot, okay.
online, so it's just like
So
the rotation
you don't
doesn't
have to
matter
think
to
about
me
it.
as much.
The next little while is a bit weird, but beginning in 2027, set rotation will take place with the first set release of each calendar year.
Oh, right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right. They're
So
they're
we got-
taking it. They're taking the school year model and flipping it into the
Yeah, so
calendar
we just
year
have to,
model. Right?
there's the next couple years, next year in 2026 are going to be a little bit weird, and then starting in 2027, we'll get a rotation every year.
Ultimately, that's probably good. Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
fine. I don't know. I'm used to the school year thing, but like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
So yeah,
They probably have a reason for it.
Yeah. Summer, all the ones that James said rotate out. And then, February 2027, we lose Wilds, Lost Caverns, Murders, Outlaws, Big Score, Bloomborough, and Duskmorn.
It's so funny that Big Score's listed as its own set,
Yeah.
even though the only way you can get it is by buying packs of Thunder.
And then a year after that, in February 2028, rotating out is a bunch of sets that haven't been released yet. So Ether Drift, Dragonstorm, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, Spiders Man,
Spiders, man.
unnamed Universes Beyond set, which I hope gets named soon. It has not been named at time of recording, so.
It's probably not going to get named this calendar year either. Yeah.
Festival in a Box for MagicCon Vegas went on sale, including the freshly announced Mystery Booster 2.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Mystery Booster 2
Sweet.
rules and was very excited to be announced. And they said that it isn't coming to retail because it came out of a different team's budget. And the only reason that it's happening is because the convention team wanted a thing to do at conventions. And I understand that, and I'm still sad about it.
that was so good.
Also
Yeah.
featured in Festival in a Box
Fantastic
is
set.
a whole other secret lair.
What?
It's the little legends. It's tiny. It's legendary creatures drawn in small way.
Oh, are they?
Are the
chibi?
cards small too? Is
No,
it like
they're
the
just chibi creatures.
teeny for?
Rhea Dawnbringer, Orvar the Allform, Drana the Last Blood Chief, Lavinia Azorius Renegade, and Omnath Locus of Creation. I guess that's as small as you can render Omnath. So yeah, tiny little friends.
Like Lavinia Azorius Renegade is really weird because that's a card that basically just sees play in Vintage.
Right.
Like that is like a vintage staple. I don't think I've ever ran into anybody playing that card in Commander. Maybe like occasional CDH stuff.
I've seen
but-
one on the Battlefield Canadian Highlander ever. maybe.
yeah, but like, you know, just the idea of somebody play like it's like, all right, here's a chibi version of this.
Yeah.
Some vintage players like looking at their
Mox Sapphire,
like their beta Power 9
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, that's what I want. That's
Clearly.
that's the copy of this card I want.
That's the vibe
Very
I want
weird.
my physical deck to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mystery Booster 2 is... how many cards are in it? It's like 1,600 again? Is it huge?
But
it
has to be, right?
It also features in each pack a card printed for the first time in the Future Sight frame, and a card printed for the first time in white border.
White borders.
And the mystery booster playtest cards that don't always necessarily work within the rules of Magic, but who cares? It's fun. And this draft also rocks.
Yeah, the Mystery Booster 2 draft is fantastic. The set's super cool, offers you a bunch of different archetypes, even though there's 1,500 cards or whatever, and a bunch of cool interactions and synergies.
I've only got to draft it 3 times. Every time I've drafted it, it's been something that I couldn't draft anywhere else, and that rules.
Yeah.
Also, they added Alchemy Made Real
Right, there's...
for Misty Boosty.
Yeah.
Oh, right. There's a couple alchemy cards in
Yeah.
Mystery Boosters.
Well, it's more than just alchemy cards, Graham. There are some cards that have not been printed in paper that are now printed in paper.
oh, yeah, from the Dreamcast game.
Yes, there's a card from the Dreamcast game, the Velukian Dragon,
I'm just
something
learning this
dragon.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No Chandelar cards. Oh, again. Could have used Whimsy. Classic Chandelar card. And some of these cards that are coming from Arena are legal in paper formats now.
Wild.
So this Velucan Dragon, not in that is now we have printed in the Future Sight frame, not in this frame, but with this art, was like has existed for years, but again was only available was only existed in the Dreamcast Magic the Gathering game
Yeah.
in Japan. So yeah, there's that. There were cards. There was like 20 cards or something that were like part of the Arena starter decks. They weren't alchemy cards. They were
Inspiring
just
Captain or whatever.
New player experience.
Yeah.
Goblin Gang Leader.
which is just a functional reprint of Beetleback Chief.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is now printed, and notably, neither the dragon nor the gang leader here have an acorn associated with it.
Yes.
Whereas some of the other cards, like Oracle of the Alpha or Forsaken Crossroads or whatever, which are alchemy cards, have an acorn, meaning that they are not vintage legal playable. I believe the Goblin Gang Leader is vintage legal playable. But also, very weirdly, there's a card called Mardu Outrider, which is the first paper printing is in this set, which is from Arena, from the new player experience, is legal and vintage, but they didn't print it with the Future Sight, they printed it with the white border.
Why?
This card's from Arena.
Yeah, this is on Arena. Yeah.
Mystery Booster 2 is definitely occupying the sort of Future Sight space of like, hey, like it's a good format without it. You can just play it. It's great. It's fun to draft. I highly recommend it. But also, it is kind of like the, hey, have you been a Magic fan for a while? Do you like trivia and weird nonsense? Well, saddle up. We got some fun cards here that you're going to go, holy crap, this?
Buddy, I am thriving.
You can tell that like Mystery Booster is just like a file that manages to like act as a vacuum for any conversations that don't land somewhere else at Wizards, right? It's like, hey, what if we did this and finally gave them X or whatever by incorporating Y, and they're like, can we make it work in this? Can we make it work in that? No, okay, let's just cut and paste this whole Slack conversation and we'll send it over to the Mystery Booster file.
August 20th, we had Alchemy Bloomborough. Cool.
I believe you.
There's some cool cards in that.
Okay.
Name one.
I don't know the name of these cards. Again,
Can't be that cool.
The
Do
Swan.
the otters have intensity?
The Swan.
The Swan?
There's
Yeah,
a Swan. The Swan's pretty cool. It's like a Savannah Lions. It's like an ugly duckling story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Level up.
That turns up. It's not level up, but it just starts off as like a Savannah Lions, and then when it sees enough birds, it becomes a big flying bird.
Okay.
I'm going to see if I can find this card.
Is it Signet? Sygnet?
Oh, yeah.
Cygnet.
Yeah.
Awestruck
I
Signet.
was right. It does use intensity.
That's an intense swan. 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 for a single white. Starting intensity 0, whenever a creature you control with flying enters, if it's named Ostrux Signet, cards you own named Ostrux Signet intensify by 1. If its intensity is 3 or more, it's a 5/4 with flying and vigilance and named Radiant Swan.
Yeah. Cute little story.
That's adorable. Okay, cool.
All right.
Banned and restricted announcement. Explorer. Amalia Benavides, Aguirre, and Soren Imperious Bloodlord are banned. Pioneer, the same. Modern, the same bans. Those two cards were also banned in Pioneer. Modern, Grief and Nadu are banned. Legacy, Grief is banned. Vintage, Urza's Saga and Vexing Bubble are restricted.
Thank God.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't play a ton of Vintage, but that makes sense.
Which the thank God was for the vintage bans?
A Vexing Bauble restriction and the Saga restriction.
Vexing Bauble is. I mean, the Saga one was a little more like there were people on Saga's side, but Vexing Bauble is a card from Modern Horizons 3 that is just sneakily just terrible, in the sense that it's a 1-mana artifact that says if a player casts a spell without paying mana for the spell, that spell is countered. And then you can pay 1 generic, tap sack it, and draw a card. And you look at this and you're like, oh, I get it. This stops the combo decks, right? Cheap card that stops combo decks. No. What this card does is stops the people from stopping the crap. Like, this is not the police. This is not the fun police. This is
anti-fun police.
This is letting me get away with my crap, right? This is I play my Vexing Bauble and then I cheat the rules of Magic. And you can't Force of Will it, Solitude, Subtlety, Daze, whatever.
And also just like if you get your Moxes out for like if you get to play first, you play your Moxes. Everyone has Moxes in Vintage. Yeah. And this like you get to play your Vexing Bauble on turn 1 and then you say go. It's like my anti-Force of Will tech is also just a Chalice for 0. Yeah.
Dang, you were on the draw? Man, sucks to suck. Anyways, play out all my cards, play multiple baubles.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that happening every game as opposed to having restricted. It's got to be better for Vintage, right?
Yeah.
I think it's funny reading ban announcements, and I get the alphabet as a thing, but reading Explorer and then reading Pioneer.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Explorer is just a format that exists on Magic Arena for this period of time when Magic Arena doesn't have all of the Pioneer cards, which probably is going to stop being a thing.
Yeah, it'll get morphed into Pioneer.
Yeah, eventually, Explorer will just be a memory. That's the plan.
Next, August 27th, it's Dungeons & Dragons 50th anniversary. And so we have a giant swath of secret lairs for this.
We did?
We did.
Nah.
No.
Yeah. Dungeons & Dragons, 5 different secret lairs.
No way.
Yeah.
No. 5?
5.
I know 0. No.
What if instead of that, they just reprinted Baldur's Gate?
Okay, so in the last episode, we asked you to potentially just slide in a fake secret lair.
Uh-huh.
Were there actually only 4, and the 5th one is you being like, and then of course we have Galamir's Triumph, and it's just trying to get these two knuckleheads being like, yeah, sure, whatever, Graham.
Sol Ring is now Moradin's Beard Comb.
Well, let me tell you the 5 I have, and you tell me if any of them sound like I made them up.
For sure, dude.
All right. There's one called An Exhibition of Adventure.
Fake.
Yep.
It's just 7 cards showcasing classic D&D cover art through the years. So, Fell the Mighty, Faithless Looting, Goldspan Dragon, Reality Shift, Monster Manual, Ponder, and a Cereric the Archlich. I didn't make this one up.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, these are great.
I appreciate that Monster Manual is literally just the photograph from the cover of the Monster Manual that itself was a photograph of a real, like this was an actual sculpture, and then the cover of the Monster Manual was a photograph of this actual sculpted thing.
Right.
And this is the 3rd edition one that was when I started playing, so I think that's very cool. But no, that's real.
It's a Henry G. Higginbottom. He did the Closet Gix, Worn Power Stone, and Cathodian from Urza Saga.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah. All the 3rd edition books were were that. They were
Oh.
a physical thing with a photograph. They
Very
were really
I
cool.
wonder if he still has them somewhere, or if he's sold them or whatever. Like, can you just like go to someone's house who bought the actual Monster Manual prop for the photo, and like they've got it on display?
How much for your claws of Gix, old man?
Right? Yeah.
Death is in the eyes of the beholder. Six
Yeah,
cards.
that's fake.
No, this is real. 6 cards featuring Xanathar. So Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. Beholder's Charm Ray, which is actually bribery. Beholder's Sleep Ray, which is actually stifle. Beholder's Slowing Ray, which is actually delay. Petrification Ray, which is blood money. And Fear Ray, which is drown in the lock.
I actually thought about buying this one because it's such a banger list of cards.
Yeah, this is some pretty good cards.
Like, if you like this art style and you're down for beholders on your cards, like, basically all of these cards are playable.
Stifle is such a funny thing for a
Secret Lair Stifle.
I have the Beholder 2, the sequel, featuring Karazakar the Eye Tyrant. Is also has the same sort of thing. So Death Ray, which is Snuff Out, Enervation Ray, which is Defile, Paralyzing Ray, which is Oubliette somehow, Telekinetic Ray, which is Fling, and Disintegration Ray, which is Fire Covenant.
So how important and big are actual beholders in Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't know.
They're
But
iconic.
they're iconic.
They're
Yeah.
iconic,
Yeah,
but
for
I
sure.
mean, like, I don't know. There's
They have all these different eye stalks that do different.
Generally,
lasers.
I think fighting them is generally like harder than fighting a dragon, right?
Okay.
Like, I think I've done it a little bit.
interesting, Nelson. Then why isn't it called Dungeons and Beholders?
Good question. It should be called taverns and beholders.
Dungeons and Beholders.
Yeah.
Then I didn't make either of these up. There's 2 that are just for people who are thirsty about characters from Baldur's Gate 3.
Right.
One of them's literally called Astarion's Thirst, and it's just some cards with Astarion. So Astarion the Decadent, Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond, Anguished Unmaking, Mortify. And then the other one is Karlach's Rage, featuring Karlach with City on Fire, Stranglehold, Thrill of Possibility, and Dolmen Gate. Of all things.
Stick close to Mama K. Yeah, I guess horny people need secret layers too.
And then there's a bunch of bonus cards as well. But yeah, all D&D secret layers all the time.
Well, they're all. I mean, I guess some of them are. Never mind. Never mind. Just yeah.
Check this out. Had you heard of this? I hadn't. Early September 2024, a perfect time to release deluxe versions of the March of the Machines Commander decks,
What?
Nope, that didn't happen.
What?
exclusively at
Fake.
Canadian and U.S. Costco stores.
I thought you were gonna say tire for a second, and then I was like,
Exclusively
that's how I know
Canadian.
you're trying to get me.
Time to cash in all that money.
Hell yeah.
It's their March of the Machines Commander kits that each contained a March of the Machines Commander deck, a Bloomborough play booster, a March of the Machines set booster, a Commander Masters set booster, and foil promos of Jace Memory Adept and a Johnny Mentor of Heroes.
I don't know. I still think you're making it up.
I didn't
Liar.
I didn't know it had existed.
Yeah.
Can I see some? Like, wait, what are? Sorry, I
So it was a
blacked
bundle.
out.
It was a commander deck with like 3 packs and a foil.
That's it.
3
But the-
packs and 2 foils.
Do they? So no new art or anything?
No, it's just it was called a deluxe commander kit. Why the March of the Machines decks, I don't know. In September 2024,
Well, they had
but it
excess
was
stock.
it was one of those decks, and then a Bloomborough booster, a Mom booster, a Commander Masters booster, the latter 2 set boosters, and then 2 foil promos of Jace Memory Adept and a Johnny Mentor of Heroes. I don't know why. Again, I assume overstock, but like it's like Costco exclusive.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
I'm
Didn't-
tired
I
of.
am now learning these
nope.
exist.
Tired of the mendacity flowing through this studio. We need to stop. We need to be open with each other and truthful. That did not happen. That did not happen, dude. I mean, I applaud because, yeah, it sounds like crap that could maybe happen. You throw in the Costco,
Yeah.
you got me. You got me. They bundle crap all the time.
They love a
dude.
bundle.
But what?
All right, you got me.
See, he admitted it.
Now I want to.
Oh my God, Chad, he admitted it.
We got him. Pack it up.
For those keeping score at home, he did not get me. That's totally real. I just want to be clear in case someone's like, "Oh, haha." No, that was a thing that existed. All right. Later in September, a simple banned and restricted update for the Commander format.
Oh no!
Definitely won't blow the organization up.
Hey, they finally banned Dockside Extortionist.
That was
That's
good.
Actually,
Yeah.
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah. And Nadu.
Oh, that was
Also,
bound to happen.
smart.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
Good.
it took a long time.
They waited as long as they could.
Yeah.
And Jewel Lotus Mana Crypt. Then September 20.
What?
I guess we've talked about this already at length. It was pretty recent, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The Mana Crypt ban makes a ton of sense to me too. I don't know. I feel like probably we live in a world where the Jeweled Lotus is getting unbanned at some point. What do you, I don't know.
I like. I mean, now that enough time has happened,
Yeah.
which although it sounds like it was like only a month or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty recent.
I like the Nadu ban because that's easy.
Yeah.
Dockside and Jeweled Lotus I like because those are cards designed for Commander, and they just do degenerate things in Commander, and they suck. They are bad play patterns. They end up being just like way too snowbally. It's not great. Mana Crypt, no, that one stinks. Now I'm safely in the like that kind of sucked category.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
like-
in for the World with Soul Ring, but no Mana Crypt.
Yeah, I mean this card's crap, but like.
Like the
It's been-
design flaw of it is worse in Commander.
Yeah, it's been crap for a long time.
Sure.
I don't know.
But it's sort of tied in with the identity of the format, you feel like? Yeah.
Sincerely. I feel like, it's you don't ban it because it's a bajillion dollars. There are similar analogs to this card that are not getting banned.
That's true.
And because it acts as a mascot for a portion of the player base. And that highly identify with that kind of card and that kind of speed. And you could maybe say that about Jewel Lotus, but who gives a crap? Like that Jewel Lotus was made for the format and was a stupid idea in the first place. Like such a garbage card. Just
So
like,
you really feel...
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, yeah, no. But like Mana Crypt is like, yeah, sure, this card's been around forever. Banning it now seems just like weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm sure nothing bad happened after that.
Right.
Yeah, no. I guess we can jump ahead to September 30th, where what's it say here? In response to threats members of the Commander Rules Committee received after the banning, it made the decision to hand control of the Commander format to Wizards of the Coast and dissolved both itself and the Commander Advisory Group.
That's right. Right. My friends did have their lives threatened.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird time. That was a really awful period of several weeks.
Well, on the plus side, at least Wizards of the Coast either didn't or wouldn't do anything to help protect them.
Mm-hmm. But now they have the Commander format panel. That's what it says here.
Oh crap! I'm on that. No, wait a minute. No, hold on. I mean, them taking over the format, I do think was a good thing, and inevitably, like at least the way that they did it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk about the stuff involved in that. I've decided to not break my NDAs, but yeah, it's good.
Good.
It's genuinely good and has solved issues that a lot of folks had. When they were on the Commander Advisory Group or even members of the CAG, like with the communication and with the actual activity.
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know what happened, but so this is pure speculation, and you do not have to. I'm not looking for you to like blink 3 times or something if I'm on the right track.
Sure, I will try to play it as cool as possible.
But the impression that I'm given is basically that and I know that there were internal discussions, but once a decision was made, that the rules committee basically was like, we can't do this. And Wizards was like, well, we don't want to. And the rules committee went, no, we can't. You have to. And moreover, you have to do it properly. And then Wizards went, okay, I guess we have to do
it's
it.
also like Wizards was involved in the process, in that previous process.
Yeah, it's not like they weren't involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they like, it's not like, hey, by the way, Wizards, Mana Crypt is now banned. They're like, what? Oh, we didn't know that was happening. Guess I gotta write it on the website. It's
Yeah.
like, no, there's, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
and so it's like, hey, we can't do this. We need you to do this. Because you're a company.
Yeah. At the in the middle of all that, Duskmorn, House of Horror was released.
So it was sweet. It was like pretty jarring to come from Bloomborough.
It sure was.
I said earlier, I was like, I would have liked a second Bloomborough set. And it's like, that's true, but I don't know. Once you get over the initial kind of weird...
I heard
pressure that
I heard
comes
the
on this
limited environment was like the best of the year.
I think it was the
very
best of
fun.
the year. I think
It was
I
very,
actually
very
have
fun.
been missing Duskmorn draft. I would like to draft
It's back
again
on Magic
soon.
Online.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Okay. I should go play it.
Rooms, a home run mechanic.
Great.
They did really, really well with Rooms.
Getting Delirium online, easier than last time, I think.
Yep. We had Delirium was back. Survival was the if a creature is still tapped after combat, do a thing, and so there was fun ways to sort of get them tapped without getting them into danger. Impending was this weird one that only showed up on the cycle of Overlords. It was like Suspend, but not.
Still very cool.
Yeah.
Really big fan of Impending.
Pending, a little too good with Beanstalk, but
There was Eerie, which was like Constellation, but also when you unlock Rooms, so cool. Like I said, Rooms was great. Manifest Dread, just better than Manifest. It's
yeah, I
Manifest with card selection.
Yep.
it wasn't even the only time that we made face down 2/2s new and different this year. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
But this one didn't bother me as much. I don't know why.
And
Maybe because
the
there's only one in the set.
first appearance outside of unsets of the creature types for Balloon and Clown.
Yeah, so mechanically a great set.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Yep.
And honestly, some of the cards as well, aesthetically pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know,
I get the distinct impression, and I have no proof of this. I know that I talk about how, like, I did creative text. No, I talked to our friends at Wizards. If I say I don't know something, I truthfully don't know what decisions led to this. But it really feels like they had one sort of concept for this, horror movie inspired thing where the whole plane is this one house that's changing and reality is shifting and there's no plane outside the house, and it's all sort of inspired by the aesthetics of a certain era of horror movies, but it's like that's the sort of thing. And then it feels like at some point late in the process someone was like, no, we got to get more Stranger Things in this. Get some 1980s nonsense in here, because that stuff really feels. It seems like if you look at the cards, you can pretty easily divide them into sort of like two camps. Overall art direction wise, I don't mean the style of the images. I mean just like the decision to be like, oh, this person has headphones and a cell phone, and then like this is a creepy door, right? Like there's two very distinct kind of things.
yeah. It's cool when the boiler room morphs into some nightmare
Yeah.
card. It's not cool when the person wearing that has their allies being like, take out your AirPods so you can know what's going on and lace up your Jordans because we're about to dip. Like, it's just... It sucks, dude.
Yeah. There's like, static on the TV. Quick, finish eating your breakfast cereal.
That's what makes
we got to go through the next
half
room.
of it is legitimately dope.
Yeah.
And then the other half is very like, what's a thing people know? What's a thing? Ghostbusters. People know what Ghostbusters and Stranger Things are.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's cram a bunch of that in there.
Because, giant weird moth avatar that it creeps people out, like, walking through this dark and dreary house and you open a door and then it's this almost like this arboretum, like this pristine butterfly garden sort of thing. You're like, wow, this is so pretty. And then one of the like pillars that you thought was just shrubbery turns around and it's some kind of moth god demon avatar that is terrifying. Like, that is a thing people know. That is a trope. but that is cool and not jarring.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you pull kind of like a Madoka of like, oh, this is kind of cute and beautiful and a place to escape from all the bad. And then, no, that's still bad. It's
Yeah.
just appealing to your eyes. And that's where the real horror comes from, is that like it's a thing that should be comforting, but is also a threat. Everything's a threat.
And there's a real, and people noted this at the time, there's a real disconnect between the web fiction, which rules, and you should read it. It's very, very good, between that and the world created and the tone set by the web fiction and what's on the cards in flavor text. It's which is also good. The thing is, the flavor text is also good. It just doesn't gel with the fiction. Right.
Even the usage of the word bestie.
I think you mean beastie.
No, it's. I
No,
mean,
there's
I
this
wish
flavor
it was.
too.
There's
Oh.
bestie.
Yeah.
Right.
World first bestie on a magic card.
Pretty sure someone says yas.
I don't think that's true, but someone does say bestie.
Okay, so we've got like some new slang, and then there's like flashlights and cell phones and like modern looking clothes and TVs. And the problem is just normally we get through a magic set where like all of the like fantasy concepts are delivered in a way that gels with the rest of the sort of overall magic world building. And so this one, because there's all these familiar parts that are in the magic world without any like, I don't know if there's sorry, I didn't read the web fiction. Maybe there's an explanation, but like the cards don't give it to you necessarily. You're just like having this jarring effect of like, am I playing Magic the Gathering? Or am I playing the Stranger Things board game or whatever, right? And so was that worth it? Like that, like tonally and thematically, Duskmourn leaves us kind of wondering if these couldn't have just been like characters holding torches or like something else that like instead of a cell phone, they have like something that works inside the world of magic as the like MacGuffin for how they're trying to escape.
It's also just very American. It's not just 1980s like tropey horror. Like it is, it
only
is
American
so
1980s.
Stranger Things because it's 1980s American. Like the cheerleaders are where like there's a cheerleader for one thing, but also it's a cheerleader in a 1980s cheerleader outfit doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And it's very hey, you remember this?
Hey, you remember Secret Lairs?
No, that's been a recurring.
You've made them up.
Great, there's more.
But seriously, the Duskmourn Limited was so good.
It was, yes. So now we have Camp Totally Safe Super Drop. I'll go through quickly. It's more Hatsune Miku to start with.
What? No,
definitely made that up.
Graham. No. Okay. No, never mind. I remember this one.
Yeah.
Because of a very funny card.
We've got Elspeth Tyrell. These are all like reskins. Elspeth Tyrell as Miku Divine Diva. Jason Raveler of Secrets as Kaito. Even though we have
Kaito Planeswalker.
we have a Planeswalker called Kaito.
funny.
God.
Yeah.
But this Kaito is Jace. Liliana the Dark Realms as Luca the Traveling Sound. Fraley's Landor's Fury as Miku Voice of Power.
We have a Luca too.
And we also have Royal Scions as Len and Rin Harmony Incarnate.
Okay.
Wait, don't we also have a Len? That's not a Planeswalker.
No.
We have a Rin and Seri.
We do have a Rin. I mean, Kaito is just a Japanese name. It's
Yeah.
not that.
It is
like,
funny, though,
out
that
there.
we have a Planeswalker called
That also just happens to be mono blue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Luca's a name. It's spelled differently, different color, but still very, very weird.
Featuring Peach Momoko. It's art from Peach Momoko with Aetherized, Drown in Dream, Psychic Corrosion, Visions Beyond, and Time Sieve. Tome of the Ancestral Sorceress, featuring art by Helvetica Blanc of Back to Basics, Preordain, Sphinx of the Second Sun, and Teferi's Ageless Insight.
Nope. This one he made up. He made this one up.
Nope.
Oh,
There
it's
it
more
is.
of this.
Graham
very
put that
cool.
together before the show.
It's
Is
true.
it? Is
I
this a
prepared this
different
earlier.
artist from the previous one, or is it just similar-ish style?
Similar-ish.
Okay.
We've got the Duskmourn showcase, so creatures that are not in Duskmourn but in the showcase frame. Phyrexian Metamorph,
No, man.
art by Catcho. What's up? Cauldron Familiar, Douthie Voidwalker, Magus of the Moon, and Witch's Oven.
That's another banger list of cards.
Yep.
Yeah, but why is there a Dothy on a card that has a TV screen, or a Phyrexian?
Because it's 2024.
Monstrous Magazines is the magazine style, the like old pulp horror mags. So Doom Whisperer, Ravenous Chupacabra, Mazaret, Crawl Death Priest, Earl the Miststalker, and Coma Cosmos Serpent famously mistyped or there's a typo here. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, and it's supposed to say
Each upkeep.
each upkeep.
That's a
I
bad
like
typo.
this art. I like the placement of everything except for the fact that my brain goes, "Oh, this card's called Horrors, huh?"
Right.
Yep. And then you mentioned Ghostbusters. We got two kinds. We've got the real Ghostbusters, like the cartoon series. So Living End here is here as Total Containment Failure, Eladamri's Call as Answer the Call, Boros Charm as Ghostbusters Patch, and Unlicensed Hearse as Ecto 1. And then different other Ghostbusters. We've got Slimer, who's never called Slimer in the movie.
You mean Onion Head?
Onion Head.
Thank you.
So we've got the Mimeoplasm as Slimer Voracious Apparition, Trickbind as Slimed, Windfall as Slimer's Feast, Incarnation Technique as Escape Containment, and Pernicious Deed, which is just Pernicious Deed. Enjoy it. And then also there's Chucky.
Slimers.
Oh, right. Yargle and Multami as Sliner
that a
and Stay
bonus
Puft.
card?
That was the bonus card. I forgot about that. Yeah, that one's great. Then Chucky. I didn't even...
Chucky?
Yeah, I didn't even notice these. I'd forgotten about these. It's Carter Doomscourge as Chucky. Yeah. Phyrexian Reclamation as Sorry Jack, Chucky's Back. Varagoth Bloodsky Sire as Tiffany, Bride of Chucky. Twin Flame as Friend of the End. And Genesis Chamber as Playpal's Factory. Oh, and there's a Patchwork Chucky that's a stuffy doll. If it makes you feel better, we can pretend that's the one I made up. Alchemy Duskmorn at the October 15th. Panel at Comic-Con, they teased Marvel's Spider-Man and announced the secret lairs for Marvel, the Marvel Super Drop. So the featuring reprints, but also unique, mechanically unique cards for the headlining Avengers of each of these secret lairs. I guess technically Storm isn't an Avenger, but what? Okay, the heroes.
I
Whatever.
thought she was an Avenger. For
I think everyone's been an Avenger at one time or another, but yeah, there's the Captain America one, and they changed their templating so that his mana pips are actually in red, white, and blue order, which is funny. So Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, Black Panther, and Storm. And frankly, all the flavor stuff there is great. Like they nailed they nailed that. Oh, and Groot is in each of the bonus cards.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
All the bonus, if you got all of them, all the bonus cards are Masterwork of Ingenuity, Sculpting Skill, Unnatural Growth, Regrowth, Nature's Lore, and Abundant Groot for abundant growth, and they all have Groot on them.
Cute.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Marvel guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a tough couple of years for you.
Well, hear me out. I'm not a big Marvel guy, like in the sense of like, I literally haven't watched every movie. I watched up to Endgame and then I stopped because, that was called Endgame.
Right.
Sure.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, that was the end of it.
Yeah. Endgame purist.
And I haven't really watched, or I haven't really read many of the comics or whatever, other than the ones that, when you grow up in the magic and with other people reading comics, they're like, hey, you should read this. You'll like this even if you don't know anything about it,
Right.
or whatever. And there's been a lot of shoving of Marvel down the throats of nerds everywhere for quite some time. And I'm actually okay with the Marvel stuff and magic. It's very weird that his name's Captain America. That's a place. It's like down there.
Yep.
Yeah. So that part's a little weird. And if they have a card that's like New York City or whatever, which they might, because there's a whole Bass Spider-Man
Invasion of New York for the that same movie we're talking about, one of those Avengers ones. where-
You want to know why I'm kind of excited for Marvel and not for the reasons that I think people would assume? They're like, oh, it's a Marvel fanboy. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
No, I kind of am excited for Marvel because they're actually committing to it. Like, we're actually going to get we're going to get better representation of a plane like Marvel than we are of any Magic plane. Like we were talking earlier about how it would be nice to have spent more time in Bloomborough. Mm-hmm. But we know we're going to get a bunch of Marvel stuff. That's kind of neat. We're actually going to get some buy-in to it.
Yeah, I just kind of wish that was balanced with a lot of Magic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Or at the very least, more Magic stuff. Like, yeah, if you're going to do these sets, do them Justice League. Do the Justice League next.
No, that's don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, it's I believe that they are going to make these cards, especially because they're going to be. Is this one in standard? This is in standard, right?
So
Marvel's
they
in standard.
also, at the same time that they made this announcement, they let you know that in the future, starting with
That was
Final
that was
Fantasy.
a different. That was a different
announcement?
a different panel. But
Okay,
yes,
all right. That's
But
coming around
this
the same time, right?
includes this product.
no, these are
Not
secret
this
products.
products, not
These are
this
secret.
product.
These are Commander only.
Sorry, these are Commander only. But the
Some
Marvel
Marvel
set
sets,
that's coming
yes.
out,
Spider-Man late next year is standard.
Starting in 2025,
right?
sets, universes beyond sets that come out starting in 2025. It's not retroactive.
Right, okay.
Future sets of universes beyond will be legal and standard. Yes.
Which means that they won't necessarily be at the power level of something like the One Ring.
yeah.
Where
So
you know,
hopeful for that.
Yes.
Hopeful for it not to be that bad.
and that because they are a standard legal product, there is going to be a lot of care ideally put into that world, and because they don't want to upset the Marvel legal team,
Yeah.
so they'll put their whole ass into making this a good product.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Home stretch, kinda. Leyline of Resonance was banned in Arena, best of one.
Cool.
Magic
Arena best of one standard is the format.
Yeah. MagicCon Las Vegas happened end of October. Javier Dominguez, world champion, player of the year. Good for him. And at the Foundations of Magic's Next Era panel is when they announced changes to, well, a bunch of things. Changes to damage assignment order.
Right.
How's that
Yeah.
been going?
I'm
Since they
still
changed
not
it.
used to it on Magic Online.
I sometimes click wrong because I think I'm going to have one more click. But that's on me. I'm an old man. But yeah, every now and then I think that I'm going to have, because I just haven't been asked to put creatures in an order. So it's
Yeah.
like blockers. I'm like, okay, yeah. And I just click and I'm like, oh, right, now I can't cast this giant card.
I've definitely been streaming Cube, and I like make these blocks, or they make blocks, and I turn away and I look back, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what happened?
Right.
Did I do it wrong? What's going on?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it's cost me tons of games or anything, but I've had some periods where I'm like, well, I guess I'm not sure striking now.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine though. Like,
Yeah,
this change is fine.
Sure, whatever.
It's not that big a deal.
At the same panel, they announced, and James, who was there, says this was the biggest crowd pop of the panel, which is hilarious. The return of MSRP.
Right. Well, we were sad when
Manufacturers
that left,
suggested
yeah.
retail prices returned.
Good.
Yeah, when MSRP left initially, it was like, I don't know. I remember the only conversations I've really had as an LGS play around MSRP had to do with this thing that was a precursor to Secret Layers called From the Vault, which was like only available at local game stores, and it came with an MSRP, but like I think the idea was supposed to be that you were like wink wink nudge nudge, charge whatever you want for these. These are just for your whale customers anyway. Like these are just for the people who are like have to have everything. And so it's meant to be expensive. It's meant to be a big profit earner for you as a way for Wizards to kind of be like, hey, thanks for being an LGS. That's hard, obviously. We're going to try to do something to put some more money in your pocket. And then that ends up creating much controversy and there's hurt feelings and stuff. So I don't know. The LGSs have been getting by okay without MSRP, but maybe having MSRP back will be
Have
good
they?
for them.
Have they been getting by okay?
I don't know. I'm not sure if the MSRP is going to save the issues.
Yeah,
that have been
probably
causing
not,
it.
but it's at least
LGSs.
something.
Sure. No, acknowledging that it's hard out there now and has been during the pandemic and for the years previous to be an LGS owner, also totally valid. Yeah. And should we talk more about Vegas though? Because I want to shout out
Sure.
Gavin Verhey for making unknown event cards of all of
we all
us.
got our own unknown
Thanks,
event
Gavin.
cards. That was so
That
cool.
was so cool.
That was totally unexpected and amazing and wonderful and a real special time. So yeah, that was very cool. And we are going to play them on Paper Fight at some point. We're going to make commander decks of our own.
2025. It's our year.
Yeah.
We're putting those cards on the camera.
Obviously they announced 2025 roadmap, but that's in 2025. So we'll talk about that in a year. The Marvel Super Drop finally was released on November 4th, but we've already talked about it. And then November 15th, Magic the Gathering Foundations, and a supposed evergreen standard set. So the idea is that the Foundations is legal and standard until, quote, at least 2029. The idea being that it is a reliable bed for standard to live upon as the other sets rotate. Foundations will be there.
Yeah. It's
interesting. Yeah.
it's like classic in Hearthstone.
Mm.
The classic set.
Right.
Which is funny because that set wasn't always like that. And then they pulled from core sets. Or like Hearthstone pulled from the core set idea. And now Magic's pulling from the Hearthstone idea.
Well, it's also a little bit like old core sets, right? Like, do you remember pre-10th edition?
Yeah.
Like those core sets, they were barely meant to be drafted. They were just meant as like a list of cards that were legal, and they didn't usually change that much every couple of years. And they had their own rotation cycle as well.
Yeah. It was it's basically just like, here are your lands and your sideboard cards.
Yes.
And your like Wrath of God counterspell, like lightning bolt, like the workhorses.
Right. Like core color pie identifiers. And then, like you say, like answers to situations that you'll need for your sideboard and some mana fixing, although it was usually not the best mana fixing.
No.
It was just like some mana fixing.
Pain lands were
Pain lands were the main one that were in these sets that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, as a example of what pain lands are, it's like, you know, shock lands were better, and then like, you know, other fast lands or whatever. Lots of other lands have been better than pain lands since then. But yeah, they gave you something. And so this set, it's like this set specifically is just planning to be in standard until probably they replace it. I imagine that's the vision, although they haven't like committed to letting us know one way or the other, but it's like 2029, and then they'll just drop another core set-ish at some point that's like, okay, now this is going to be in standard instead of Foundations for another lengthy period of time. And this set doesn't even have lands, right? Does Foundation have mana fixing lands?
Yeah, but
temples.
it's just like,
Really? Okay.
well, not in the draft.
Okay, but they're in the.
So they're standard legal.
They're standard legal.
But there are
Okay.
like not the gates. Are there the gates? No.
I thought there's just terramorphic expanse.
But there are dual lands. There are just like common
Okay.
lands that enter. Oh, the ones from cons. That's
Yeah,
what
the
they have.
cons
They have all the
lands.
cons.
Oh, the
lands.
gain life
Yeah,
lands?
the gain life lands.
Okay, the gain life lands are in, but that's not like standard mana fixing.
Right.
Neither is terramorphic expanse.
Neither are
usually.
temples, but
neither are temples right now when you have surreal lands. So yeah, it looks like this set is looking to just provide standard with some strategy options. Like there's some kindred plans that have like their roots here. You know, Zul Ashur is a cool card in a zombie deck, but not enough to prop up an entire zombie deck, basically.
Yeah.
And so like some strategy options and some like core, you know, burn spells, kill spells, counter spells, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Also, with the release of Foundations was Foundations Jumpstart, which is a new Jumpstart, like a proper actual Jumpstart. We haven't had Jumpstart for 2 years, since 2022. It's great. We played it a bunch on Paper Fight a couple weeks ago. Pardon me, Nelson. No problem. Your microphone. Yeah, it's great. Jumpstart's great.
Jumpstart's great.
Jumpstart's
Love more Jumpstart. And then most recently, on the 10th of December, Pioneer Masters on Arena. Similarly, I'm like, I wasn't actually done drafting Foundations yet, but okay. I guess Foundations is around forever, so I can probably draft more of it in future. But now on Arena, coming out, I guess officially at time of recording in a couple days, is Pioneer Masters, a new master set, draftable on Arena, and to inject a bunch, but not all, of Pioneer onto Arena in an attempt to slowly kill Explorer, but we're not quite there yet. We talked about this a couple weeks ago,
But now you're probably really close if you want to just copy Pioneer lists and bring them to Explorer. Like you already were with a lot of them beforehand, but now it's probably quite close. You played this one. Did you get to play it all, Pioneer Masters? I haven't played it yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. But you played
I
some,
recommend it.
Okay.
I think you guys will enjoy it.
I have plans to play it tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's 2024. There was no more secret layers. None of the ones that I didn't have time to.
Come on, one more.
I mean,
at time of recording, they might spoil one. Yeah,
there was one more.
Nope, you made it up. It's fake. I don't care what it is. It's fake.
It's the Extra Life one.
I forgot the Extra Life one.
I was so sure James was going to be
that
on
one was actually
one more Miku secret layer.
No,
right?
this is the extra. This is the one
yeah,
for
this one was
charity.
sweet. Yeah. I
Why do you
bought
sound
something
so
on
upset?
Arena that was like alongside this. I got the Johnny card back or something. Avatar.
Yeah.
But this one's pretty sweet. Late Blast Fireball, Lightning Bolt. I forget what that blue card
Solve
was.
the equation.
Yeah, solve the equation. But these are sweet.
Yeah.
They look like an 8-bit video game of
Big fan.
Nicol Bolas's Hour of Devastation.
Yeah. Like those
great.
a lot. So that brings us to the end of this 2-episode podcast. How was 2024?
Apparently it was full of secret layers I didn't know existed.
Nearly lost my phone there. I'd forgotten about Mystery Booster 2 when you asked me last episode about my favorite draft format, but it was probably Mystery Booster 2 and then maybe Modern Horizons 3 and or Duskmorn.
I think my favorite format was Duskmorn. Mystery Booster 2 was incredible, but I only got to draft it once.
That's fair.
So it's hard to really say that it was my favorite, but maybe it would have been.
Yeah, Mystery Booster 3 or
Mystery
2.
Booster 2 was definitely
It's my
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. What did you like about 2024? Tell us in the comments. Any other thoughts? Sorry.
Yeah. There's a lot of crap that came out, but there was a lot of really good stuff too. It was fun. Ultimately, is it fun to play?
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot of it was fun to play.
Yeah.
Fun to play in a variety of ways. Variety of ways that are also accessible, right? Standard, commander, and limited. Everything else kind of died, but who cares? Modern players deserve what they get. And legacy players are sickos.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I care because I like playing legacy.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know.
Any
Yeah.
final thoughts, Nelson?
No, I mean, Wheeler's got it. I think the most crucial take of the year is just that the Modern Horizons 3 set really warped the hell out of Constructed of the sets it affected. And so that's not great. But yeah, Limited and Standard and Commander were good. And there were a lot of cool products that came out. Yeah, same thing.
They did the state of design for 2024, and one of the things that they said was they tried to be less tropey. And it was very funny that I think that came out right before Duskmorn. But yeah, I hope they follow through on that. I don't need a hat on my cards on Ravnica for me to like Ravnica. I don't need Jordans on my cards in Duskmorn to like Duskmorn. You know? Yeah. Just give a rabbit a sword.
Yeah. Give a rabbit a sword.
Just give a rabbit a
Give
sword.
an animated hand a big sharp mouth.
Yeah, why not?
And give us a follow and a subscription to the channel, and check out cardkingdom.com/LRR, the sponsor of the show. And also, if you go to Dragon Shield, use the code LRRMTG5. And if you feel like it, support us financially at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. But most importantly, give a rabbit a sword. Hope you had a good 2024. I've been Graham, joined this week by Nelson.
Thanks for listening.
And Wheeler.
I had 2 drinks.
James has been on tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. And we'll talk to you next year. Bye, everybody.